U.S. government doesn't want this guy getting like any mineral.
I would have happily done. That would have
If
been
it
fun.
was dark, we could have died. We could have died.
Hello, everybody. This is Jeremiah Rodriguez.
This is Tyler Ellis, and you're watching the Wolfpack Podcast. So today is about like old hunting stories that we had and like experiences we had in the woods, and stuff like that. Starting with like the last quail hunting trip that we went on.
Well, first, I want to talk about this guy right here.
Alrighty.
I want people to understand I did not kill this deer. This
Well, yeah, I mean,
pointer
it's a spike.
here.
Look at this thing.
I actually found its body on a creek lying down in an unknown location, which I won't tell you because that's my hunting spot and no one else's besides this guy's. We found his body there.
It's public.
Don't matter. Anyways, we went over there, found its body, and I saw its head, and I said, what a waste. So I grabbed its head and ripped it off its body, well, what was left of it. Come to find out, that's where a bobcat was hunting. We actually saw the bobcat, me and my brother, and it was looking at me, and I was looking at it, and it was love at first sight, We both felt that special
that
feeling,
bobcat.
and then next thing you know, she just turned away and left me. I'll never see that bobcat again. But I just want to elaborate. Yeah, this was not killed by me. I have not killed anything yet.
He could have been killed by a coyote too. You never know.
Well, those body parts everywhere. Yeah. But the fact is, we found that den for the coyote or the bobcat, so we know the bobcat lives in that general area. But I just want to elaborate on that. So this is not my kill. This is natural causes. This guy died of diabetes.
Yeah. What's it called?
Let's hear about one of your stories.
You've been on almost all of those, but I would like to talk about the times that we've been lost up in the woods.
Lost.
Have you ever been lost in the woods?
No, I haven't.
Well, I'll talk about the time I've been lost up in the woods. All right. One time, it was like the first time we went deer hunting. Me and Dad and my cousin Greg went up to I think it's called like the Three Chimneys or something like that here in California.
Unknown location. We won't talk about that. Proceed.
But so we hiked all day, pretty much, and we're just hiking around the woods, and we went up this mountain, and then we had to go all the way down this mountain to find a road. Apparently, that road is the road that had our camp on it. So you go down the road like 1 to a half mile until you find camp. And I was like, all right, you guys follow the road. I'll follow the creek, because the creek flowed behind the campsite. So I was like, I'll just follow the creek because the creek is right behind the campsite. So I actually go down into the creek bed. It's practically dry, and I follow the creek, and I keep following this creek, and I could hear Dad and Greg just they're gone, because they followed the road, and I'm tripping over rocks and stuff. So I'm following this creek, and we get, I just keep going, and then I start looking at the walls of the creek, and they keep getting taller, and I was like, all right, I'm not going to be able to get out of this, if I keep going. So I was like, maybe I already passed the tent, because this wouldn't be where it is.
That must have been terrifying, huh?
Well, I didn't see the tent, so I was just like, maybe I already passed it. So I turned around, I started walking back the other way, start looking around. There's literally nothing there, and I was just like, okay, this is it.
This is how you were gonna die.
So I was like, oh, great, now I'm lost. So then I climb on top of the actual creek bed. It's pretty deep. It's 4 or 5 feet. So I had to climb around and get back on the actual road that they took back to the campsite. And then I'm looking around because I don't know what direction I'm in. So I was like, all right, so I'll just go opposite from which way I was coming back. So I start walking that way. And then I hear Dad yelling. All right, guys, the camera wasn't recording, but okay. Now to continue my story.
Are we recording now?
Yeah, we are.
That's fantastic.
To continue my story, I just hear my dad yelling my name, but I thought it was just my mind, because that's how it usually is. Because I've heard I've heard the voice of Shannon yelling my name in the backyard. And she just okay, whatever.
Kind of reminds me of that Frozen movie. I can hear you.
So I hear his voice, so I'm just like, okay, whatever. So I just kept walking, and I like actually hear him, and I'm looking around, and then I see him, and I was just like, oh, there he is, and I was like, hey, what's up? And he was just like, where'd you go? And I was like, I got lost. And so he's like, all right, let's go, and he got over the creek bed or whatever, and I had to help him up the other side. Then we got on the road and we walked back to camp, and Greg was terrified because he thought like I was gone. And
Well, yeah, you could have been on Dead or Alive.
I could have been gone.
Could have found nothing but your body like we found this guy.
But
horrible.
The time after we went hunting with him, what was it, like three weekends after that, Greg just shows up at our house, and when we get to the camping site, like at Cherry Lake. When we finally get there, he's like, all right, I got these guys for you. Merry Christmas. And he hands out like these survival whistles. And I was just like, I'm actually going to keep this just in case, because you never know when you might need something like that.
And then you blow it and it goes, wee woo, wee woo,
wee woo, wee woo. Gets lost. Wee woo.
Well, now we know we need to get a compass and a map and a GPS signal on you at all times. We need to plant a chip in your neck so we can find you. So, I'll tell you about a story of mine. I've told you this before, but it's never been documented or recorded. There was one time where me and Ricky went to the lake, decided to go turkey hunting. Remember I told you about this? And we were sitting there, and it was freezing cold, and we were doing turkey calls. We didn't hear nothing. It felt really, really eerie that day. Cold, not a single noise in the bush, not a single sound, just pitch quiet. And here we are doing turkey calls, stuff like that.
Not a gobble.
Whatever.
Nothing back?
Nothing back. And then that day, we ended up hearing screaming and eerie, creepy noise. It was like that all the time. But you would hear people like that at the same time, as well as that creepy noise. And it was repetitively doing that.
Thinking it's just like a prank while. Or something.
No, I've done research on it. There's been reports of people of encountering those sounds and stuff like that, and they're known as ghouls. You have seen those skinny guys that are reported on YouTube and memes and all that stuff.
You mean like really skinwalkers?
Skinwalkers, yes. But also known as ghouls as well. But they are known for making that noise and stuff like that. And it says that
Skinwalker Ranch.
That if you
That's
believe
in California
in it,
too.
It creates them. So I was thinking, that is just a really creepy noise. And I still go back there and hunt in that general area all the time. But that was the first time I actually heard that eerie noise, and it was just really, really creepy. I was telling my brother, should we just be quiet? Should we call somebody? Should we get out of here? And we just still ended up turkey hunting and stuff. We didn't get nothing, but that was a weird experience.
It's terrifying.
Excuse me.
Look at that audio spike.
Well, it was a pretty good belch. But, that was one of the stories that I had. We haven't really ever encountered anything crazy. The most terrifying thing I probably ever experienced in my time was when we went on a men's retreat a long time ago, and I went outside a building, and my brother and everyone closed the door on me just to joke around with me. And I tried to get back in, and I turned around, and there was a snake right there within like 5 feet with me. And I think it was a rattler. I'm not even sure, but it was just staring right at me, hissing like that. And I was just like, when you're terrified, you can't really scream. And I was little at the time.
Literally, like nothing comes out.
It was pretty much like Great Outdoors. Big bear chased me, but I couldn't say nothing. I was terrified, and eventually they let me in, and I was just like, I almost died. But that was probably the only terrifying experience I ever had when it comes to camping or hunting. But
I mean, it's kind of different, other than getting lost and thinking that I'm not going to come back to camp or whatever. And there was like the time where like the pine needles, how pine needles are slick by themselves. Mm-hmm. This is the fall. There's like dried brown pine needles all over the.
Oh, I know. I've seen you slip around.
Yeah.
Fall. You poor guy.
All over the granite and stuff. Where we were going down this mountain, pine needles all over the place, and I slipped, and I practically slid down the whole hill.
Well, next time I'll bring a sled for you.
That would help.
That actually might be a fun idea. We should definitely try that and record it and see how that goes.
I would drop the camera. I've never dropped that camera.
Well, that's why you get a GoPro. Mount it on your chest.
Yeah, you're right. That'd be a good idea.
It's a lot safer, I'll tell you
Yeah,
that.
it would.
And if you fall, you can always do a barrel roll over and over again. The camera will be fine. You may be bloody and dripping blood all over the camera, but it's protected. It's waterproof.
Let's do some funny hunting stories.
Funny hunting stories. I ever tell you that the last time I went turkey hunting with Ricky, I accidentally peed on my pants?
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yep, I did. I was taking
Slip and fall or something?
No, I was taking a crap and it came out both ends. And yeah, I just didn't register in my head. It's gonna come out that end. And whoops. I didn't let it ruin my trip though. I just dried it off and just kept on turkey hunting.
That might have to be cut out for reasons, but okay.
No, let people know. I want them to know. They can call me names, whatever they want to do. It's good for the ratings. Trust me.
Okay, whatever. But
I used to be called an animal hater just because that stupid bird video. That was also a camping trip. You remember that one, right? When I posted that guy over.
Was that Santa Cruz?
That was in Capitola, actually.
It was a beach though, right?
Yeah, it was the beach. That bird just kept flying into the fire pit, and no matter how many times we scared it away, it just kept coming back. And I remember all the hate comments I would get on there. You're an animal abuser. And I even commented on it saying, maybe it's extinct or it's on the endangered species list. I didn't think about it. I just saw a tag on its foot. Bird trying to commit suicide. I was thinking he had nothing to live for. You know, and that bird
he actually did though. Like that was like a fact right there. Like
that was a parakeet.
Yeah, it was pretty much like the tag. I don't know if it was a pet or what, but it was
tagged
something.
Parakeet that almost became a chicken nugget.
It just
parakeet
about
nugget. That was a crazy time. Crazy time.
There's a lot of funny hunting stories that we've had.
I haven't really had
falling
much.
down the hill. Okay, that one. There was this one time where we got permission to hunt this private land.
Oh, I remember you talking about this.
And the gate was wide open for like the property line, and we didn't see the property line or whatever. And we went up on it was turkey hunting, right? We go up on this trail or whatever. It's pretty nice, and I go up on this hill because it's a trail and it's like a nice flat ground for this hill. And I was like, this is like odd. It's like almost like tire tracks. And I was like, must be just the guy like doing maintenance on the land. And we get up there and I see like a ton of turkey. I'm talking like 50 to 60 turkey in this field. And I was like, ooh. So I knock an arrow. I get my bow ready. And then my dad was just like,
we gotta go.
Dad was like, we gotta go. And I was like, what? And he was like, look. And I looked to my left and probably maybe
Old Man Sanders.
No, it was maybe 20, 25 yards away from me was a house. And I was just like, we gotta go. So we actually we got out of there fast. We practically ran out of there. And then we get back to the original property we were hunting, and he has like a mountain almost in the middle of the property.
A mound.
So we kind of climb it. It's pretty tall. It's like a mini hill or whatever. And we sit there on top of it and stuff. And I start hearing this voice. I don't know if it was echoing or what, but she was like, it was a girl. It was a lady. And she was like yelling on the phone. And she's like, you got two guys out here. And she's just like, she's yelling on the phone. And I was just like, once we're done with this, we're never coming back. And we never went back.
Well, you being on that hill, I thought your dad would have picked you up and would have raised you up.
I have no idea what just happened.
Looks like it just turned off.
It looks like it went out.
Looks like. Yeah, I heard the. Start recording. That was weird.
That was terrifying. I don't know what that was.
I don't know either.
Okay, well, we'll leave that in too. Paranormal.
Activity.
Okay.
Paranormal
Next story.
Activity.
Other than funny stuff, like kind of like creepy vibes, I guess. Hearing noises, like that time that
that one time I told you about, I was really bad at it. Besides me and my brother trying to go Sasquatching, we actually, I think we're the only people in the world who went Sasquatching with baseball bats, thinking we could beat it down.
Got a nail through the end of it.
Well, that's the thing. You hear stories about Sasquatches one night, there's calls, just you see the videos, people getting giant boulders thrown at them.
I mean, you've heard that noise, that first story that you had, or whatever. Me and Dad were walking, doing turkey hunting or whatever. We had our bows with us. We were walking, And like we just walked past this big bush or whatever, and we hear a growl. Like it wasn't a purr. It was more of like a legit growl. Seeing like bobcat tracks and stuff and all kinds of stuff like that. So but there's a cat around here.
Then they turned around and there was a baby kitten. It was so adorable.
Well, bobcats are just about that size, like a house cat. And they look soft.
Yeah, they are. But the thing about bobcats is they got short little stubby tails. Short little stubbies. Weird, huh? Oh, I did.
That's okay. It's pretty sensitive. But
Oh, it's okay. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings, Mike.
But four-wheeling. There was a time where me and Dad went and were turkey hunting, of course. That's what we mainly did.
That's all we really do is turkey hunting, deer hunting, and quail hunting. That's
quail
what
hunting.
we do.
Quail hunting we just picked up.
Oh, we're gonna pick up duck hunting too. I know somebody who's gonna teach me the ropes this year.
Have fun with that. Maybe you could teach me something too.
That's the whole mindset.
But so me and Dad went to this place one time, and it's in the old Honda Pilot, a 2003 Honda Pilot, and
What's the license plate number? 23569. I'm just joking. Look on your face, you're like, oh gosh.
I was like, are you serious? But he puts it in 4-wheel drive, and we start spinning around like this. It's kind of like a dirt parking lot, but it's really ripped up. Like there's ruts in the ground and stuff. It's pretty beat up. So
I've been hearing that word a lot lately, rut. All the time. Mm-hmm. Even my pastor used it all the time. So I'm thinking,
it's a universal word.
I know. It's like
flange.
I know. It gets me wanting to go deer hunting, but I can't. I just can't right now. It's not time. When is that season, anyways?
Fall. It starts in late.
You're telling me if I fall on the ground right now, I can deer hunt?
Care. Do what you want. Do what you want. But so we start tearing up this ground or whatever, and we hit the tire in the. Okay, a rut is basically like a big crack in the ground. It's like a miniature Grand Canyon kind of thing. It's like that deep, okay?
Yeah, but it's also mating.
It's probably that wide.
We're in the rut.
Basically the mating season, yeah.
That's why it has so much meanings.
Yeah.
It just has so much meanings.
It just doesn't make sense.
It's like one word that has two meanings, like your and your. You and your, you are, it's so many things. But why did they gotta make the dictionary so complicated?
We basically broke the tire almost, because that thing would not, it made a lot of noise.
There's another word, not. Not.
Not.
I know. That's so crazy.
Can I tell my story, please?
Yes, you can.
Okay. So we basically almost broke the wheel or whatever, just about from that the hole hit. It's almost like a pothole. And the pilot's made sense. The pilot has knocking noises when you drive it pretty much ever since then.
Sense. There was one time where I went fishing with my dad, and you know how canals are extremely steep. They go on a hill like that.
Uh-huh.
So over here. And we really wanted to go fishing at this one river, and we had no better way to get in there. So my dad decided to go in our Grand Caravan, 2004.
It was Jeep?
No, it's a van.
Caravan, that's Dodge.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Jeep, Grand Cherokee. That's what I heard.
Well, anyways, we decided, it was my buddy Sean, Charles, me, Ricky, and my dad. And my dad's like, all right, everybody, everyone get on one side of the van. So he goes on this hill. We're driving at this angle the whole time. We're about to roll over the whole time. We were
my God,
terrified, holding on for our dear life.
Dear.
I know I did it again. But either or, it was terrifying. I mean, you're not supposed to do off-roading stuff with a van. And my dad did it all the time.
I just remembered something. There was this one time where we went deer hunting with me, Dad, and Greg. And we go on this really, really old dirt paved road. And the paving literally just spaced out, and then it faded into gravel, then it faded into just dirt. And we go down this road, and parts of the road has just had like chunks taken out of it from the rain. So there was probably a 8-foot deep hole that's just about wider than the road, just swept off and taken down the mountain.
Hole. Hole.
Hey, you're right. You're right.
So stupid.
It's crazy. English is crazy.
I know. It's just a crazy thing. It is a crazy thing. Proceed with your story, sir.
But so Greg was all like, "You think I can make that?" What? And he was like, "I bet I can make that." And I was like, "All right."
You were like,
Do
it.
We got out of the car. He was driving a Chevy Tahoe. I was like, I don't know if he can do it. And he literally, like, the dirt was even still swept from like the mudslide or whatever happened. There was like dirt on the ground, and there was like so much space, and then there was the hole, the 8-foot hole. He could have rolled this thing over, and he literally drives up on the side of the dirt, and he goes around this hole, and he's like looking down the hole the whole time. That was terrifying.
Oh,
and he was like, all right, guys, I made it. And then we just keep driving, and there's this really strong current stream that crosses the road.
And you wash his hair, and then you get some Tresemme. Hair thoroughly. I should
use a toothbrush on it, but
brush his teeth. Why not?
some
great teeth. Look at that.
Use mane and tail.
Mane and tail. Why not?
Yeah,
right?
why not? I mean, it's still hair.
No, because you don't got a mane or a tail.
Well, back to the story. What was I talking about?
You were talking about a vehicle of some sort?
Oh no, the stream.
Stream of some sort?
Yeah, the stream had like these big rocks in it. So we were trying to push this rock over the ledge, and he goes down. He brings back a bunch of logs that we actually put the boulder onto, and then wheeled it off of the ledge. And I was like, some MacGyver type stuff. Like, I was like, we're like, I never would have thought about that or whatever. So we then after that, we just kept driving down the road, and then we meet another hole that's like deeper than this one. It's like 10 to 12 feet deep. And the road's just gone. Like, even after the hole, the road only goes for a little bit, and then it's just gone. So we had to turn around and go all the way back through that just to get out of there. But that was fun.
Let me tell you one more story, then we'll conclude this podcast time frame, because we're going a little.
I still got that last. I mean, I've still got to edit it.
Oh, I know.
But I still got that last hunting trip that we did.
Well, let me tell you a story, though. One time we went just for a hiking trip in Yosemite when it was during the snow time. And it was, me and Ricky were probably around 13, 14. Ricky had a broken arm at the time. We had broken arms very similar at the same time frames. We were just reckless kids wrestling and stuff. But I remember we were walking up in there going to Yosemite Falls. And we get over there, and most of this waterfall is frozen. It's mainly all ice on the very bottom part. And Ricky decided to climb on the ice, walk on the water, and he ended up falling in. He fell through the water, and he was in the ice water. He couldn't get out. Every time he moved, it would break. I was terrified. I crawled towards him, like,
Crawl?
I went over there, laid down, reached my hammer over him, and pulled him out. It was terrifying, but he hated that rest of the day because he was freezing.
Well, yeah, I mean, like...
You ever walk on ice water? It's on a river and stuff?
I've stepped around on a bit of it in shallow water.
It's really cool. I've actually walked the river that actually flows really, really thoroughly, though it's really, really deep. And I've actually walked on it when it's super thick ice. It's really cool, but terrifying at the same time. We actually saw some trout we couldn't even touch because, they're under the ice. It's crazy.
Did you see them swimming underneath the ice? That's cool.
Really cool.
That's like an inside-out aquarium.
It really is. A really cold one. But, yeah, that was really cool. Really cool. Let's talk about our last trip then.
All right. On our last trip, quail hunting. Yeah. And we went with me, you, Dad, and so we go up there, and normal day, quail hunting, just drive around the woods for a while.
Shotguns.
The
shotties. I like to call them shotties. You like to call them shotties? Shannon hates when I call them shotties. It's a Call of Duty reference.
But so we just like normal day. Haven't seen a thing throughout the day. Hiked around a little bit. Like it just rained, so the ground was muddy. Got our shoes all muddy. That was annoying.
Oh, we saw the spine of a deer.
Well, that was
O'Brien's
cool.
smiling.
But all we really did was hear some, like a quail, like here and there. Like all we really heard was two.
Oh, but
But,
the deer we saw was just amazing, over 100.
Yeah, just about. Yeah,
But we're not going to talk about the location of that.
huge groups of deer.
It was just
Some of the
really
biggest
cool,
deer I've ever seen in my life.
Huge.
6, 8-point deer. Huge.
The antlers
Not 8,
of those
but,
guys, just humongous.
Collectively 8, maybe.
It was buck everywhere. Buck doe. I could be a millionaire and how much deer I saw. It's a lot of bucks.
So
And that's a lot of doe.
So what was it?
We drove around trying to find quail over and over again.
Yeah, we were
walked down
trying to find quail, and we finally stop and we just we eat lunch, we do some target shooting, and then
Lunch was good. I love that linguiça. You like that linguiça that day?
I mean I didn't have any, but I've had it
So
before.
good.
It was pretty good.
So good. Cooked to perfection. Not to mention we got to shoot some clays in the process as well. That was pretty awesome.
That's
That
what I
was the
said.
first time you got to shoot your first shotgun.
Cool. Oh, that was a good day. But
Good day.
after that, our cousin told Dad, he was like, "You ready for some extreme four-wheeling?" And he was just like, "Okay." And when he means extreme, he means extreme.
Well, that's the thing too, is when after the extreme happened, it gets easier from here on.
Yeah, he's just
Lie.
like, "Don't worry, it gets easier from here on. If you think that was easy, this is a piece of cake," and it was not a piece of cake.
Well, let's talk about the first part of the crossing of the adventure,
Okay.
though.
The first part that we get to is probably 8 feet deep. It was like this little creek type stream
A
thing.
very narrow bridge of rocks.
Yeah, but it wasn't really a bridge. It was like people hauled that in so they can cross.
Just boulders.
And then on the other side is basically just a ravine with like you would fall down that and tumble down.
It
You'd
was
really
a bridge of
mess up
death.
the truck.
The bridge of doom.
So their Jeep went first, and it was like rocking back and forth. It could have rolled over into the water based off of our point of view. That was pretty crazy.
Oh, it was terrifying. It looked like he was about to go in.
It looked pretty bad. And then he was trying to go up the mountain, and his tires just kept spinning.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're like, all right, we can do this. We have the Tacoma,
And the technology.
and it's lifted with the four-wheeling tires. So we're like, all right, I guess we'll try. We were pretty terrified.
Oh, of course we were
very,
terrified.
very hesitant to do that.
Oh, but the Tacoma handled it like a champ. It went
did.
up really, really easy. It was just like smooth sailing with lights sliding and
Light slide.
terrifying.
Just up that first mountain though. That was like it got up it, and we're like, okay, like
That was it.
what else can we do? And we see their Jeep, and it's just sliding all over the place. We're like, all right, we can do this. We start sliding around a little bit.
It was like ping pong with those ding, 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 sliding around so much.
What's that game called? It's not ping pong. It's
Little thingies.
pinball.
Ping pong.
Pinball. The fins.
Oh, I'm thinking ping pong. What am
Ping
I
pong
thinking?
is with the paddles.
Yeah, the paddles. Forrest
Oh,
Gump.
sorry. Forrest
No,
Gump.
that's what I think of. Forrest Gump. You know?
So we get past that
Every
first.
one of his pictures.
Just about. Did again.
You need to just keep the mouse over here.
No, but I actually need to check to see if that did. Like, actually messed
Oh, the mouse is wireless or no?
up. Okay. Get comfortable again.
Anyways, pinball.
I think it's on a timer. But back to the story. So we get past that first mound or whatever, and we start driving, start hitting these corners, start slipping a little bit.
We're sliding left and right.
Now we're having fun. The engine's really spinning, and our tires are, flinging mud everywhere. We have wide tires. But
Engine spinning.
the engine was spinning, all right? Engine spin. The
Engine is
camshaft inside of
going.
an engine spins. But firing on all cylinders. It was fun. But we get up on this
Big ol'
a few
hill.
places. We got puddles going everywhere, just tires spinning. Um, and we hit this one mountain. We hit this one mountain that we have to turn into. It's kind of hard to turn into. The truck doesn't really have a big turning radius. But we get to it, and we start sliding, and we're trying to turn to keep it from sliding. And the truck literally turned sideways like this. Wheels turned all the way in this direction. So have the wheel all the way turned over. And
we're literally grinding up the hill.
The back tires were spinning too. And we're like this far, like the truck's here, and we're like this far away from a cliff. No, from like the other mountain or whatever. And then behind us just went down. So if we went far back, it would just go straight down like a mountain. We'd have to get towed out. And then we go forward, and the bumper would get hit. So we're stuck like just about like this, and our tires are spinning so much that we just go up the mountain anyways. So
yeah, it was terrifying.
it was very scary, but it was crazy.
Like on a
we're just coaster. We're like just sitting in the car, just like, what is going on?
It's a terrifying roller coaster.
It was exciting.
We rode Goliath.
It was very exciting, but it was crazy. But we got up the mountain, and we got through all that just to get back on the main road. And then we're like, by then it was dark. By the time we got out of there, it was dark. So
thank God we got out of there right when it turned dark. It would have been dark time when we were still going around the mud. That would not have been fun. Can you imagine going up a hill, sliding around, not knowing where that hill ended?
Going up that hill sideways?
Nope. At that point, put it in park. We're staying the night. Which I would have happily done.
If it was dark, we could have died. We could have died.
Yep. By God's grace, we did survive.
I got one last thing. Abandoned places that you've seen in the middle of the woods.
That log cabin was awesome.
That log cabin was amazing. But
Definitely
have you seen any other places like that?
A Red Bull and have a seat. Mm-hmm.
Have you seen any other places like that cabin out in the middle of the woods anywhere?
The most I've ever seen was a toilet in the middle of nowhere.
Serious?
Just destroyed and left for dead.
Okay.
Not much though. I mean, I'm assuming that probably someone made a campsite there and used that toilet just to sit on.
That or they just dump their trash. That's what people do. They'll just.
No, but it was in the middle of.
They'll dump their trash in the middle of.
No, but usually trash, you would see it like in a really kind of close location to the road. Yeah. This was literally off in the middle of nowhere. Like, I kid you not, nowhere. Ooh, I gotta say a camping story real quick.
Okay, go for it.
We were camping in Pinecrest, and me and my brother thought it was a great idea to mess with all these other campers. So me and my brother go to the restroom, and Ricky and I decided start making bear noises like crazy, and we grab the garbage can, start smacking the lid, making like we're trying to dump it in the dumpster.
Isn't Pinecrest a reservation campsite?
It's pretty much anyone can come. You just got to reserve, but you can.
Yeah, that's why I meant.
Yeah, you can do that.
You have to pay for the camp. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was funny though because we just made all that noise, made all that racket, and then the sheriff comes back to our campsite, going to campsite to campsite to campsite, having a gun in his hand. He's like, "Did you guys hear the noise? There's a bear around here. You gotta stay in this campsite. You'd be safe." We're like,
just like laughing.
Mm-hmm. And it was funny because in the morning, that same sheriff came back to our campsite as my brother went to the restroom earlier that day. I had no idea he went to the restroom, and when he got in the restroom, he had a bunch of mud on his shoes. So he grabbed that mud and wiped it on the walls over the seat.
I mean, he probably just slapped his shoes together.
Oh no, he literally grabbed it off his shoe and wiped it on the walls, like he like literally wiped it. So you see his handprint on the walls. And it's just mud, okay? It's just mud. So that sheriff comes up, "You guys got any kids?" And we say, No, we don't have any kids. Well, that's the most disgusting thing. Went in the restroom, there was crap everywhere, all over the ceilings, all over the walls, all over the toilet paper. It was the most disgusting thing I ever seen. I was just like, it was funny.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was funny.
What was I gonna say? That one. Oh, places, buildings. That cabin. Before that, it was like the first time we ever went hunting, deer hunting. I don't even think I had my license yet, but we go out there, and we're just like driving, and we see these cabins out in the middle of a field. There's two of them. One you can't even get into because there's like beehives everywhere. Then the the greenery has practically taken over it. But the first one you're able to get into. So we went in there, hiked practically through the grass or whatever, and we get in this cabin. The drywall's still okay. Some graffiti, not much.
So dry.
The place was pretty cool. They had like an attic access kind of, and you could look up in there and see rafters and stuff. Like this was a log cabin, so there's like logs and like beautiful pieces of wood just all over it. It was really nice.
Peeked your head up from the cabin and saw a black shadow go and just take off, right? That'd be freaky. At that point, burn it all. Burn the building.
I'm pretty sure that was government property, like the other cabin we went to. Speaking of that cabin, it's a beautiful cabin. Like that's a great cabin. I want to go back there, like to camp in that cabin. Like we'll show some pictures of the cabin, like right now.
Well, we definitely got to record it then, because there might be paranormal activity.
No, you never know. But I do want to camp there. But like, it was a cool cabin. It had like, it was big. The story behind that cabin is that the guy who owned it, he had built it or whatever, and it has like a party deck. It's got a lot, but the kitchen and the rooms are kind of small. But it's like a really nice cabin. But there's a mine. On his property.
Mine.
And the U.S. government doesn't want this guy getting like any mineral on the mine.
Government's always reaching in your pocket.
Yeah, they always find a way. But so they kind of like do like an incentive kind of thing. Like, we'll trade you property. We'll take this property. We'll pay you, and we'll give you this property.
With Bitcoin.
With Bitcoin. No, this is, I don't know how long ago this was. This cabin looks fairly new, but it is pretty worn down. It's pretty worn down.
Toll on everything.
Well, people have gone in there and
even
you see
this skull.
There's shotgun shells around it, so people have target shot. There's like a box of beer inside of it, so there's like people going out there and just tearing the place up, partying, drinking. But that place is pretty neat. And I do want to go back there.
You know, I guess I should have checked out this skull before I brought it in.
Should have what?
Checked it out more.
Why?
Just saw a baby Black Widow on it.
Serious?
Uh-huh.
Is it inside?
Yep, he's in the skull now.
Well, flip it over.
No.
Okay.
Oh, he'll die.
Conclusion?
Conclusion? All right, well, I'm Jeremiah Rodriguez. Thank you for watching.
All right, that's all we have for you guys.
That's all I got.
That's all the main like highlight stories of us camping and hunting and just being up in the woods and stuff like that.
On our next hunting trip and any adventures we have, we'll make sure to keep you up to date. But if there's anything you want to hear about or us to comment on, like or subscribe and leave a comment down below.
And if you guys have any suggestions of topics that we should do, or challenges that we should do, or more places that we should go, let us know. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.